What's up, guys? I wasn't planning on making a Demon Slayer review, but I got a little bit of feedback on the last few movie reviews that I've done. I started out with the animated sort of format, and then I switched to the webcam, which is a pretty grainy, lazy type of way to do it because I just sit in front of the computer and film myself. So I wanted to try something else, really trying to differentiate each type of video I'm making for the game reviews. I'm gonna stick with the animated. For obviously like big video essay type videos, I'm gonna stick with the green screen. And I kind of want to do a more of a formal Chris Stuckman talking in front of the camera movie review, and good movie to do it with, although this movie was released like a month ago. And yes, I did see it opening weekend, but I didn't review it because I don't know. Because I'm dumb, I guess. In reality, the movie came out late April, which is around the time that my classes were all ending. So I had finals on finals on finals, short films due, long essays due, like big tests, and I didn't really have time. Obviously, if you watch my Mortal Kombat review, there's like this weird 2 to 3 week gap in between that video and the next video. But again, I wanted to try out the new format, and I think Demon Slayer is a movie worth talking about, so let's talk about Demon Slayer. Mugen Train opens up with our four main heroes, Tanjiro, Inosuke, Zenitsu, and Nezuko, boarding a train because they've heard reports that a demon could be aboard, and they are there as demon slayers to slay the demon. But they are not alone, because aboard this train is another elite demon slayer known as Rengoku. And this guy is, I swear to God, he's like the coolest character in anything ever. Seriously, I loved him by the end of the film, and he is one of my favorite characters overall in Demon Slayer. And yes, I do mean overall, because Demon Slayer Mugen Train is a continuation of the show. It's completely canonical. It's a part of the timeline, and that's sort of what the Demon Slayer team is doing. They're doing a season of the show, and then a film, and then a season, which is probably my biggest flaw with the movie. Demon Slayer Mugen Train is not friendly in the least bit to people who are not familiar with Demon Slayer, where take something like the My Hero Academia movies, which yes, those aren't really canon, but even if they were, they'd still have that 30 seconds that they took out to explain the lore, 80% of the world is populated with these things called quirks. And I think that Mugen Train could have done something a little bit similar, but this film starts, there is no explanation, no setup, it just goes. And that is a good thing in a way, but the film is definitely for one audience. It's for the fans. If you are interested in Demon Slayer, you're not gonna be able to watch this movie. If you are a fan of Demon Slayer, you can watch the movie because you've seen the show. And that works for it and against it, because it's essentially shunning an entire party that is interested in Demon Slayer. Maybe they didn't have time to watch the show before the movie came out because, the movie's only gonna be in theaters for a limited time. And now they can't see the movie because they haven't seen the first 26 episodes. So again, that really is my biggest problem, but it's almost not even something that I can pin on the movie, because Demon Slayer Mugen Train is freaking wild. When I first stepped out of the theater, I was kind of like, yeah, it was okay. But there are a ton of scenes, including the finale, that these moments in the film, they just really stuck with me for the last few weeks. But more than anything, Demon Slayer Mugen Train has some of the best animation of any animated film I have ever seen, and the transitions from 2D to 3D animation are basically seamless. And yes, this movie and the show both utilize 3D animation in a very good way. And the reason for that is because these action sequences are so complex and so detailed that it would take like a century to animate everything. Okay, not a century, but it would take a really long time to hand draw everything that goes on in these fights. The animation is super fluid and extremely detailed, and I think the movie is worth watching just for that aspect alone, but luckily you get an entire bonus movie that comes with the great animation. The film really does cover all the bases that you would want an anime film to cover. It has the fan service, and I don't mean that kind of fan service. The characters in the film operate in the exact same way that they do in the show, which is kind of a given because the film is made by the exact same people, but the characteristics were so on point. Whenever Inosuke or Zenitsu did something, the crowd would always be cheering because it was in tune with what you saw on the show. The humor was on point. The fan service was just really well done. It's got great action, great moments of emotion. The entire train sequence is this dilemma between the demon slayers and this demon who has put all the passengers to sleep so that he can feed on them. And they can't wake up because the demon has trapped them in sort of their own little paradise dream. And when Tanjiro gets put to sleep, we see this through his eyes. He's launched back to a time when his family was still alive and when Nezuko was not a demon. And we basically have to watch Tanjiro realize that he's in a dream. And the only way for him to break out is to leave behind what he truly wants. And I thought that was a really powerful and emotional storyline in the film. But the best thing about the movie's story is the surprises. And yes, I know the film has been out for over a month, so I'm probably safe to talk about it, but I don't want to take any risks. All I'm gonna say is that the fight between the demon and Rengoku towards the finale of the film was heart-pounding, character-driven, and ultimately satisfying. I love flashy fights in movies, but the best fights, they aren't just flashy dances, they also take our characters from one point to another. That's a really big problem that I had with the recent Mortal Kombat movie, is that the fights, they kind of just seemed like they were there because in Mortal Kombat we fight and we need a fight, 15 seconds of fighting, okay, back to the story. But no, you need story to be in your fights, and Demon Slayer does that greatly. Whenever there's a fight, you can always count on our characters being at one point in the story, and while they're fighting, the story is also advancing with the combat. I think everything was very well done. I think it was very wise of the team that's working on Demon Slayer to make these films in between each season. I think it was a lot of fun. And I would say that Demon Slayer Mugen Train is my second favorite film of the year, right under Raya, which is, it's weird that my two favorite films of the year are, as of right now, animated films, but you know, whatever, man. So with all that in mind, I'm absolutely gonna give Demon Slayer Mugen Train a 90%. I know it's been out for a while, so seriously, if you watched this review, thank you for watching. I just kind of wanted to try out the new format to see how it looked. But yeah, I think this is the go-to. I don't know. We will see. So thank you for watching, and I will see you later.